Hey, just making sure everything is set up. If you're here live, say hi in the chat. Let me know where you're watching from. You have two chat options. You can either chat directly with me or chat to everyone, whatever you're most comfortable with. I'm going to get started here really soon because our time is valuable. Just want to make sure everything is good. I'm having some tech issues with my slides, so it might look a little bit different than normal, but should still work. All right. Okay, welcome. Just helping people get in. Okay. Say hi when you join. We have been sick over here. Even in Hawaii, there's still sickness. Far less than when we lived on the mainland, though. Right, I'm gonna like out of it over here because there's a lot of feedback. Yeah, we've all been a little under the weather. I hope that you are all staying well. It's definitely that time of year. I think the last time that I was sick was exactly the same time. Last year, end of January, I got back from Disney World and I got really sick. So it's been like a year since I've been like really sick. And I'm not really sick right now, but I'm not feeling the greatest. Okay. All right, I'm gonna get started. Okay. So if you cannot see my slides, please let me know. If you can't hear me, let me know. But we should be good. Okay, so welcome. I'm Amanda Davila, if you do not know me already. And just making sure I'm recording here. When you jump on, type in the chat. Let me know where you're watching from. Introduce yourself. Hello. All right, so we're getting started. So today we are going to talk about the skills you need to get paid to work as a work-at-home mom, as a virtual worker, even if you've never worked online before. And my goal for you today is for you to see that you can make money from home or anywhere, even if you didn't go to college, even if you haven't worked in a long time, even if you don't think you have the skills to work virtually. I promise that there are options for you. If you want it, you can absolutely do it. So I'm going to break it down into 3 topics today. Top 3 jobs that you might already have the skills for to get paid this week, to get started right away. The best place legit jobs are hiring and how to find them fast. And my #1 secret for making money online. So grab a pen and paper. You're going to want to take notes. I'm going to be giving you a lot of good juicy stuff. So let's start with some promises. If I teach you these secrets, you have to promise to take action. Your happiness depends on it, and you're here for a reason. Whether you just started thinking about wanting to do something different or you've been thinking about it for a long time, you're here for a reason. So this is your permission to take action. But the thing I hear all the time is time, right? You don't have time, right? We all say this, we don't have time. And what I'm going to be teaching you, you can do in stolen moments between making meals for kids, between, switching the laundry from the washer to the dryer, between whatever it is you have to do, between running and picking up kids and dropping them off, or whatever it is that your life looks like, you can learn how to do whatever it is that you want to do in those stolen moments. And I'm going to teach you how. So what if, just think about this, close your eyes for a minute and just imagine, what if you could work from anywhere? Like legit anywhere, whether it's from home, from the beach, from the hospital, from the airport. I mean, whatever your life looks like, what if you could work from those places? And I'm here to tell you that you can. And you can work from anywhere with a laptop and Wi-Fi. And another secret a lot of people don't know is that you can actually find legitimate virtual jobs that you don't even need a laptop for. And whenever I tell people this, they're like, well, that sounds like a scam. That sounds crazy. And I get it, because we've all seen a lot of that. We've seen a lot of scams. We've seen a lot of opportunities that we don't necessarily want. But you can do a lot of things from your smartphone, and it doesn't require selling anything. It doesn't require products. An example is social media management. So if you've ever heard of a social media manager, it might have sounded like some made up thing. I know the first time I heard it, I was watching, I think it was The Bachelor, The Bachelorette. I think it was The Bachelor, and all the women came on, and it just has their name and their age, where they're from, and what they do for a living. And it said like social media manager, and I laughed like, what the heck is that? That's not real. And a lot of times they don't have like actual careers listed, so I was like, that's just silly. But it's actually legit, and I've done it, and you can do it without having a computer. You can do it from anywhere on your phone. So I want to make this really simple for you. Contrary to popular belief, you do not need a college degree. You don't need to have a business suit or high heels. You don't have to have a dedicated office in your house. And you can still get a dedicated, established role with a company and work on your schedule. So not everyone wants to be a freelancer, and that's okay. You don't have to. There are so many jobs online that you can do working for companies as an employee, but from home. And now more than ever, it's really a beautiful thing. So, if you need to make money and you need to be home, you don't have to start a daycare. Everyone always says that, like, oh, I'm gonna have to do an at-home daycare. Well, if you can do that, that's fantastic. I cannot do that. I have no desire to do that. And there's a lot of licensing stuff that goes along with that. And plus a bunch of kids that aren't your own driving you crazy all day. Not my cup of tea. You don't have to purchase a bunch of products that are just going to retire in your garage. And you don't have to rely on selling products to your friends and family. If you haven't already done something like that in the past, you've probably thought about it, or you have a friend who's done it. And I can't tell you a single person that I actually know that has made a lot of money from that. So this is for you if you're a mom who needs to make money from home, if you no longer wish to work a traditional job, or you can't because of COVID, you've lost your job's closed, there's a lot of uncertainty. And this is for you if you want to be home with your kids while keeping a career and having extra money. So there are moms that are stay-at-home moms that love being stay-at-home moms, but they also want their own money. They also want extra money. They want to be able to go on vacation, buy a new car, whatever it is. So even if you have a spouse who can provide for your family and you don't need that extra money to survive, doesn't mean you don't want some extra money. I know a lot of stay-at-home moms who are blessed to be able to stay at home, but they don't have anything extra. Their spouse's income covers the bills and that's it, and they want more. And this is when a lot of people start looking at network marketing opportunities, and like I said before, they buy a bunch of products and they go into cupboards or the garage to die. The products, not the people. So what I want to share is that you can get a legitimate online virtual job to work from home or from anywhere without having to sell anything. And I've seen this work, not just for me, it's definitely worked for me, but over and over and over again for other people. And businesses need help, whether they're an online business or even a brick and mortar business. The way things are going right now, more than ever, people are hiring work at home positions. A weird noise. I don't know if you can hear that. So raise your hand if you've ever tried to sell for products for a company like Avon, Plexus, Beachbody, doTERRA, Young Living, Mary Kay, Amway. I mean, the list goes on, right? There's always new network marketing opportunities pop up. And the products aren't bad. So when I'm not dissing on any of these companies or the products. They're not bad products. What I have a problem with is people not being able to actually make a living by selling them, and how much that the companies are keeping. So when you make a sale off something, how much of the sale are you actually keeping? So you're doing all the work, besides creating the product, obviously, but you're doing all the work. How much do you actually keep from that? How much time are you spending trying to convince others how great the products are? And what about the anxiety that you feel when you're trying to sell another product to your friends and family? You probably decided to do it because you love the product, and it probably is a great product. But unfortunately, so many of these products just end up not getting sold, or putting you in a lot of debt, unfortunately. And that is not what I'm here for today. I'm here to tell you how you can make real money, cold hard cash, doing legit things online without doing anything weird, without selling anything. So I get it. You love the product. You saw else who was wildly successful, and they make it sound really easy. I know, I've been there. So there's nothing wrong with you. You didn't do anything wrong, but you might have ended up not. So there's a win there. But it's not you. These business models aren't designed for making profit. I'm gonna say that again. Those business models are not designed for making profit, at least not for you to make profit. They're great at making a substantial amount of profit for the company, but not so much you. So an example is the product you're selling costs $100. You sell it to your friend, your family member. The company takes $80 of that, and you make 20. That's just an example. Those ratios can obviously vary, but that's a lot of work for you to do for $20. And the company is making a whole lot more than you. And for me, that's just not okay. So again, they're not bad products, but you do need cash now. Sorry, my computer says I have unstable internet. If you're on live, if you could chat real quick and let me know if you can still see and hear me, that would be awesome. Okay. So again, they're not bad products. You need cash. That's all yours. Not that you have to share with somebody else. That's not a good way to make money. So September of 2020, the US had a historical moment. This is shocking to me, but it makes sense. So the most women ever left the workforce all at once on purpose. 8 million women. 8 million women left the workforce in September of 2020. And you could probably guess why. COVID. Kids couldn't go back to school, and parents had to, someone had to stay home, and 8 million moms in the US alone. I just can't even, like, that's insane to me. So what was happening in your household back in September? If you have kids that are, school age, what changed for you? If you're comfortable sharing it, type it in the chat. I'm curious to know, like, how that affected you, because, life really changed for millions and millions of women in the US and families that can't no longer survive or thrive because of significant loss of income. And at this time, when all of these moms were leaving their traditional jobs, the network marketing industry boomed. And unfortunately, most of those women never make money. And again, they're not bad companies. I'm not here to diss on any companies. I purchase things from all kinds of companies like this. I love the product, so I get it. But it's not a profitable career path for most women. So what I want to share with you is that there is another way. If the goal is to be with your family and work on your own time and call your own shots, there is another way. So I'm going to share a couple stories of Felicia and Rachel. So we're going to meet Felicia first. This is Felicia. She works 50 plus hours a week at her corporate job. She dreads her commute to work. She spends most of her income on childcare. I hear this all the time, and it's really sad to me that so many women work every day and are miserable, hate their jobs, hate their lives, just to pay for childcare. Felicia has no time for self-care, and her marriage is suffering. So I don't want to be like Felicia. If you're Felicia or you can relate to Felicia, let me know in the comments. Just type in F for Felicia, or you can say bye Felicia, because obviously that's why I used the name. Yeah, so let me know if you can relate to that. And then this is Rachel. I call her Resourceful Rachel because she started as a general admin VA making $20 an hour. She left her waitress job after 2 months. 3 months later, she now makes $35 plus an hour as a tech VA. She only works 10 to 15 hours a week, and she has time to play with her kids and go on dates with her husband. So Rachel took what she had, what she knew, working a long career as a waitress, being great with customer service, and she started working online, making $20 an hour, which is pretty darn good for someone who, is like me and didn't even, know how to do much on Facebook when I started in the online world. She has no tech background, but she's resourceful. She's able to figure it out. So let me know if you are a Rachel, or if you want to be a Rachel. I think most of us would rather be a Rachel than a Felicia. So the solution, I'm going to teach you today how to avoid working 50 plus hours per week, how to avoid having to commute to work, and how to make money working for established businesses. Again, real businesses, real cash, no sales, no network marketing, no products. So you have the skills and the resources. And today, the 3 topics we're going to talk about are the top 3 jobs you might already have the skills for, the best places legit jobs are hiding and how to find them fast. And before I forget, if you stay through this entire workshop, then I'm going to send you my personal list of work from home jobs that are hiring right now. So you can grab that list in your email, start applying right away. And I'm going to my number 1 secret for making money online. So if we haven't met yet, I am Amanda Davila, and I'm a nurse turned work at home mom. And these images always make me laugh because this is what people thought of me, right? And I think most moms are in this position, right? Where we're super mom and everything is together and, we do everything. And I don't know if anyone actually thought that of me, but that's what it felt like, right? People tell you that, like, oh, you're such a super mom. And you're like, no, I'm a hot mess, but okay. But in reality, this was me. So when I had to go back to work after having my son, this is the mom I wanted to be over here on the left, but over here on the right, the reality was I had this beautiful baby and I was exhausted. And that was not my cup of tea. That's not what I wanted. I was working 12 plus hours a day. I was mentally and physically exhausted, and I was missing out on my baby growing up. I had no time or energy for my family or for myself. I was deep in a struggle. I remember nursing my baby, dreading going back to work, but knowing I had to make an income. I remember feeling helpless and depressed and wishing more than anything that I could find a legit way to work from home. It just didn't seem possible. I lost a lot of joy in those newborn months because I was desperately seeking another way to make a living. So after 12 weeks of unpaid maternity leave, I went back to my full-time nursing position. And I was miserable. I cried every time I left my son. I didn't trust anyone to take care of him as well as I could. I was suffering from severe postpartum anxiety and postpartum depression, and I was in physical pain from the lack of time and space to pump. If you've ever been in a medical office, you know how busy they are, and also how many sick people are coming through, and trying to find a place that is, felt safe and secure and not disgusting to put a breast pump on, like that. Yeah, not easy and not enjoyable. And then people banging on the door and sometimes walking in on you because they need you to do something else. So it was miserable. So these are my thoughts. I wanted to be at home snuggling with my baby when he was sick. I wanted to be able to choose my own hours. I wanted freedom to travel when I wanted. And I wanted to be able to spend the holidays with my family without having to risk, having to work or having, getting sick or having to do something else. So after several months back at work, I knew I could not and would not continue the cycle. I continued to search high and low for other options. I was always on my phone, which makes me sad looking back because I was so desperately looking for other options that like I said, I was losing joy in being a mother. And then one day I discovered virtual assisting. And I tried to start my own thing and offer services on my own, and I failed. I spent so much time Googling everything, trying to figure it out for myself. But between working full time and being a mom and being a wife and having a home to take care of, I couldn't do it. It was too much. So I had also had a lot of imposter syndrome. I felt like my background's in the medical field. I can't work online. Like I legit could barely use Facebook. Like I could go on and post and like things. That was it. And I got really overwhelmed and scared. And that imposter syndrome kept me playing small, but not for long, because eventually I found the help I needed. And after wasting a lot of time and energy, I joined a program that helped me figure it out, and fast. As soon as I started taking it seriously and made that initial investment in myself, I had paying clients within days. So when I look back, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, why didn't I do that sooner? I could have started making money so much sooner. And, spent more time with my family so much sooner. So this is a little review of what happened when I decided to become a work from home mom. So I started my VA business, which is offering virtual administrative services to online businesses. I only work with people I choose, so I don't have to go to a job and work with a bunch of jerks, people I don't like, smelling people's, leftovers or heating it for lunch. I don't know why people always had to bring like leftover fish to heat up in the microwave, but it was like the worst, right? Because we had the freedom to be anywhere and work anywhere, we moved to Hawaii last year. My husband was able to quit his job and work from home too. And now we explore the island when we want to, and we work when we want to, and we have options. And it all started with me deciding that I was worth it, deciding my family was worth it, and taking action with the support of others who had already done it. Joining the program I did and meeting the people I did and making those connections was key. And I still have amazing friends from my initial program a few years back. And we still catch up and refer people to each other and ask each other, like, hey, like, who do you know that does this? Or like, what about this? Like, it's amazing. Like having a network is absolutely vital. So these are a few pictures of me. This is a morning I woke up and I had stickers all over my face. Apparently, I'm learning to sleep through pretty much anything. And there were actually more stickers than this. This is me and my family at the beach here in Maui. And this is a picture of me working from home. This is actually during our move, and I was working from a condo in Kihei. I made a little tiny office space here to do my work. So when I say you can literally do it from anywhere, I mean it. Like I have worked in all kinds of places: hotels, condos, cars, airplane, airports, home. I mean, anywhere. So this was all great, and I was working as a virtual assistant, and eventually I moved to be an online business manager, but something was still missing. I was helping a lot of people with their businesses, but I wanted to have a bigger impact. I wanted to share my passions, and I wanted to really start to create something that could leave a legacy for my family. I really enjoy coaching, strategy, education, health, wellness, spirituality, and all of these things I want to share on a bigger scale. And this is when Corporate Rejects was born. So I designed my ideal program to teach working moms how to make a living from anywhere without having to lose their income or go back to school. You don't have to have a college degree. You don't have to have anything fancy. I wanted to give moms a choice. So in the past, the choices are pretty basic and bleak. Leave the house, put your kids in daycare, have a commute, go to a job, leave, stop at the grocery store, pick up your kids, go home, make dinner, help with homework, yada, 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 and then collapse exhausted at the end of the night. And you didn't even get to see your family. You have no idea what's going on in your kids' lives. So remember Felicia and Rachel? How can you forget? So I decided that I want to help the Felicias of the world become Rachels of the world. So here is where you're definitely going to want to take notes. I'm going to talk about the top 3 jobs that you might already have the skills for that you could start getting paid for this week right away. Virtual assistant. So I've mentioned this already a bit, but a virtual assistant can do a wide range of tasks. These are some of the common, really basic tasks: email and calendar management, graphic creation, newsletter formatting, and scheduling. And like I said, these are very basic. Like when it was even a brand new virtual assistant, I did way more than this. But I also know virtual assistants who just offer these things. So that's one of the beautiful things about being a virtual assistant. You get to choose what you want to do. So I have some examples for you. So email and calendar management. This photo here shows an email inbox and email management. So if you've ever checked your own email, put things in folders, deleted stuff, you know how to do email management. You might not be great at doing your own. I know I'm not. I know how to do it, and I've done it for clients, and I've got paid a lot of money to do it for people. But of course, my own is wreck. But I know how to do it. So if you've ever managed your own email, or maybe even the email of someone you worked for, like if you've ever worked for a doctor, or you've been an administrative assistant of some sort in an office, you've probably managed someone's email for them. Easy, and you get paid to do this. Over here, I blurred it out maybe a little bit too much, but this is my Google Calendar. You can still tell there's a lot of junk on here, but this is something that people also hire people to do, to manage their calendar. It's a big deal. If you've ever worked for somebody, if you've ever been a personal assistant, anything. Like I said, if you've ever worked in any kind of office, medical or not, there's usually someone who keeps a calendar and someone has to manage that. So a lot of people have actually done these tasks. They just didn't realize that it was like a real job that they get hired for to do. The next one is graphic creation. So these are a few graphics that I've created, and I am not a graphic designer, far from it. These were all created in Canva, and I've done better, I've done worse. Like these are just a few easy ones that I've done recently that I grabbed to share with you. But these are all things that you can get paid to do as a virtual assistant. Again, you don't have to be a graphic designer. A lot of business owners don't have the budget or need to hire a professional graphic designer. They just need somebody to take their Canva templates and make little graphics like this. It's easy. The next thing that's a really common thing for virtual assistants to do is newsletter formatting and scheduling. So these are, I shared these ones because we all recognize Macy's and Target, right? So anytime you get an email from any company, somebody has put together the email. Somebody has formatted it. Somebody has made the graphics and, made everything look nice, adding buttons, adding pictures. Sometimes you can click on them and go straight to a product. So being a virtual assistant doesn't just mean you just work with, small businesses, startups, anything like that. Like there's like legit like big companies that hire virtual assistants. Like somebody has to do this. Somebody has to work for Macy's to put together all their news letters, all of their email campaigns. Like, and I recently have unsubscribed from Macy's, but if you've ever been subscribed to them or Target or any other big company, you know that you get a ton of emails, and based on certain things you click, you get other emails. And that's all stuff that somebody sets up. That's all stuff that you as a virtual assistant can set up. So I share these with you to let you know, like, especially now more than ever with people working from home instead of in an office, these are all legit jobs that you could get for big companies that you've heard of, which a lot of people are more comfortable starting there, and that's totally fine. So the next job that is very popular in the virtual world is social media management. I know I mentioned it a bit before, but creating content like those graphics I just showed you, scheduling social posts, so scheduling those graphics and, in a scheduler to pop up at a certain time, and responding to comments. And these are just a few pieces of it. There's also, ads and other types of social media campaigns, but this is the basic. Like what I'm sharing with you today are the things that are basic that you could potentially start doing right away without any experience or with very little experience or training needed. So content creation, these are a few things that I've created. Again, just in Canva, very basic. I'm not a graphic designer. I'm not artistic at all, but it's very, very simple to do. And then scheduling the posts. So here are a couple screenshots of a couple of posts that I've done recently. So it's taking the copy that the client gives you, sometimes creating a graphic, and then posting it or scheduling it to post. Again, super easy. And there are some companies that do have graphic designers that do things, or certain people that do just graphics. So you don't always have to do graphics, but sometimes you do. But generally, you're given the copy and then you pair a graphic with it that makes sense. Engagement and responding to comments. So this is another piece of social media management that is very important and is something that you can do from just your phone. You don't even need a computer for. These are screenshots of a couple of my videos. And you can see people have commented, and I'm a little bit behind, but I could hire somebody to come in and respond to people, engage with them. So as businesses grow, and especially if they're big corporations, there's teams of people who do this for them. But even for small businesses, business owners don't have the time to be going in and commenting and responding to everybody, but it's so important for their brand. So they hire assistants to do it for them. So all of these comments here that people have left me on this video over here, I could have someone go in and, like and reply and, post any links or like whatever the post is about. If there's a call to action, like I can, make sure that they have the link to join or whatever that call to action might be. So these are all things that you can do from your smartphone from anywhere, and people need done. A lot of businesses, a big thing that's missing is engagement with their community. The next job that I'm going to share today is online business management, another job that I have done. And this is something that anyone can learn how to do. But if you have any background with project management, team management, business growth strategy, anything like that, this is a really great opportunity. So if you're like, I don't want to do email management, like I've been working, in a corporate career for years, like I'm not going to go and do email management. That's fine. There's so many jobs online that you can do with those skills you have. So, I blew through virtual assisting pretty quickly because I got bored. I was like, I want more. And some people don't, and that's fine because everyone needs a virtual assistant, and everyone, loves when there's someone who really loves doing what they do. Like, so if you're someone who wants to do basic virtual assisting and that's it, great. Like that's needed. But if you're someone who wants to use some of the skills you have, like project management, online business management is great and pays really, really well. So here's a few examples. So project management, this is Trello, and then this is someone, using like a checklist. There's a lot of different programs to do project management with. And it's really something that is super niche. Like a lot of people like are not good project managers. And business owners who really need to be visionary and focused in their business don't need to be messing with project management stuff. They need somebody to keep them, in check, in line, and keep projects moving forward. So if you have those skills, you can make a lot of money right away without having to start, making $20, $25 an hour. You can start at a much higher rate. Team management is another thing that a lot of times goes along with project management because the project manager is making sure that everyone on the team is doing their part and has everything they need. So it's another really important skill for online business managers. And the next piece is business growth strategy. So these are a couple of screenshots I took of, losing my words here, of like a Google sheet or Excel spreadsheet to track income and expenses. And this one is a nice graph showing like, okay, like, these are, amounts. This one specifically, I think was PayPal or Stripe, amounts coming through and what that looks like over the year. So if you're somebody who has a background, like understanding charts like this, then that's another thing that's really, really needed in businesses, because what I've seen that, the majority of visionary creative entrepreneurs, they need somebody to keep them in check on this side of things. They need someone to look at the numbers and say, okay, this is working, this isn't working. Let's come up with a strategy, a plan to get these numbers up. So this is another piece of online business management. Sometimes It really depends on the company or the business owner and what they need. So the best place that legit jobs are hiding and how to find them fast. This seems to be one of the biggest questions I get, even like more than like, well, what can I do? But like, how do I find jobs? First of all, you go online. You can absolutely find jobs not online, but most of the online virtual jobs are posted online. And when I say most, because your network, so your network of friends, family, connections, could be offline. You could be talking to them, and you should be, because you can find a lot of jobs just by talking to the people you actually know, because whether they have a business or not, they probably know someone who does. And when I was a virtual assistant, I got a lot of jobs that way by just talking to people, telling them what I'm doing, and them saying, oh my gosh, I need that. Or, oh, I know someone who needs that. Let me connect you. But the best places that I found to find online jobs are Facebook groups and LinkedIn. I've also found jobs on Instagram, on Google searches, other places, even like sites like Indeed. Those types of sites are now having more virtual or remote job opportunities because COVID. So a lot of people are hiring remotely now and utilizing those programs. You can also find things in Craigslist and Facebook, those types of places. And just like with anywhere, you need to be cautious. But the ones that tend to have more scammy things are Craigslist and sometimes Facebook. But scams can happen anywhere, so you always have to be aware. But I wanted to share with you some of the top Facebook groups that I use and my clients use and my business friends, everyone I know use for finding online jobs. And these groups that are really popular are Boss Moms, Virtual Assistant Savvies. I put my group on there, even though it's small, it's mighty, and I post jobs in there. The Corporate Reject Connection, Women Helping Women Entrepreneurs, Virtual Assistant Jobs. There's also one called like Virtual Assistant Jobs Tribe, I think. And then another way that I just started sharing recently with people is using hashtag job op or hashtag job opportunity, hashtag hiring. So make sure you're writing this down because these are really, great ways to do that. And this blocks it, but this was said like 4,000 something people are posting about this. So 4,000 people are posting about job ops. And you can see like one right here, it pulls up any hashtag anywhere on Facebook. Anytime someone has done a hashtag job op, again, you want to try the other tags as well, job opportunity, hiring, virtual assistant, you can get creative. But these are the most common ones, and it pulls up every post that has that hashtag. So you can easily, within seconds, find hundreds and hundreds of jobs, posted on Facebook. So definitely something that is very useful. So you can go on right now and do that and see like, oh, these are the types of jobs that are hiring. And you start reading through them, you can see that there are a lot of different needs all over the world, different pay scales, different businesses. Like you can really see like, oh my gosh, there are a lot of jobs out there I can do online. And oh, I might actually have the skills for that. If you registered for this workshop, then you would have gotten the my starter kit that has the skills worksheet, skills workbook that helps you extract the skills you actually have. So make sure you check your email for that. If you don't have it, let me know, and I will make sure that gets sent out to you because you do have job skills. If you've ever worked a job in your life, you have skills, and you can use those to work online as well. So my number one secret for making money online. Are you ready for it? Be resourceful. This is the number one reason that I was able to make a smooth transition from nurse to virtual assistant. I'm a self-starter. I invested wisely in the education and mentorship I needed, and I pivot as needed. Like, this is the absolute number one thing. Like, being resourceful and being flexible. Like, if you can do those things, which you can, some of us have a harder time, but you can do it. You can learn. You can teach yourself. you can absolutely be successful finding jobs online. So besides working a 9 to 5, you're also a mom, a maid, a nurse, a dog walker, an advocate, a friend, a sister, a daughter. The list goes on. You're lots of things. You're a wife, a chef, a personal shopper. Those all sound familiar? Let me know in the comments if those sound familiar to you. So I want you to meet Hannah. Hannah is my best friend's sister, and she is a virtual assistant and online business manager. Although these days I think she's just online business manager. She has done an amazing job of growing her business and following her heart and what she wants to do, and subcontracting and outsourcing to others to do the things she doesn't want to do. This is her and her baby. So when Hannah came to me, she was pregnant. She didn't want to work anymore. She was working as a receptionist in a medical office, I think in a dentist office. And she's like, I don't know what you do really, but I see you posting about it and I want to know more. So I took her under my wing, and she's the first person that I really like taught how to do what I did. So she left her receptionist job while she was pregnant. She started working as a virtual assistant. She took her maternity leave. And then when she was ready, she came back and started working again. And she has had like a long list of people wanting to work with her, and has had to turn people away because she is resourceful. She's flexible. She's smart. She uses what she has and she rolls with it. Like, she is very flexible, and she knows what she wants, and she knows what she will take on and what she won't accept. And these are all things that we worked through together one-on-one, because she was like me. Like, she came into this place and she's like, I need something different. I don't know how to do it. Teach me, help me. And she's a great student. So she then transitioned to being an OBM, and her income drastically increased. And now her husband was able to leave his job and work from home too. So they're running their business together now. And they've made it more into, a bigger business that I know is just going to continue to grow. So at first, it was just, simple, take on virtual assisting jobs, and then she was like, okay, I want to grow this bigger. I want my husband to be home with me too. So now they are having a brand new home built, and they're raising their son together on their terms, and it's beautiful. Hannah doesn't have a college degree. She lives in a small town. She doesn't have any fancy equipment. She's never had to miss time with her son or send him to daycare. Her family is closer than ever. She keeps increasing her prices. And every time she thinks about it, she calls me and is like, it's time to increase my prices. I'm scared. And we work through it. And like I said, she chooses who she wants to work with. And that is something for me that is vital, because I've worked with a lot of jerks and I don't like it. And I've worked with jerks online too, but I have more of the power to end those contracts and move on than if you're working in an office somewhere. Unless you quit, you don't really have those options. This is a nice little note that Hannah had given me about our time working together. And like I said, like, she still calls me and is like, I need help. And it's amazing. I love it. So I've taught her to go from receptionist to virtual assistant, and then virtual assistant to online business manager. I'm so proud of her. I love this quote. Ideas are easy. Implementation is hard. Right? We all can come up with great ideas, but actually making it happen, that's the hard part. And I struggle with this too. I have to go back to this quote a lot and then figure out, okay, who do I need to get to help me with implementation? Like, what do I need to do? So the big question now is, how can you apply this system to your life to replace your current income, or replace the income you don't have at all right now, and stay home with your babies? That's what it's all about. Like, my goal for this year is to help 500 moms learn how to work from home, learn how to work virtually from wherever they're at, doing whatever it is that they want to do. Like, that is my goal. And more than anything in my heart, I want moms to know that they have options. So I have given you a whole lot of information, and I will send you the replay of this so you can listen to it again. Hopefully you're taking notes. But I want to reapproach Felicia and Rachel really quick. So again, Floundering Felicia, she works 40 plus hours a week. She misses her family. Her kids are calling her the nanny mom. She's exhausted, and her marriage is failing. And then we have Rachel, resourceful Rachel over here. She works from home when she wants to. She chooses who she works with. She has time and energy for her husband, kids, and friends. And she never has to leave her sick kid. Like, there's nothing worse than having to leave your sick baby with somebody else. Like, can't do it. I cannot do it. So this, it's time for you. Like this, the time is now. There's no better time than now to start working virtually. Whether you just want to or you need to, it's vital because you don't have any income. You can't work. Your kids are home. You're trying to distance school them, and you don't have the opportunity or option to go to work, or you don't want to leave. Work. Be at home with the kids all day and then have to go work at night when your husband gets home and go work. You know, at Starbucks or Target or wherever. Making minimum wage. You don't want to do that. I get it. Or maybe you do. If you do, great. But most of the moms I talk to don't have any desire to do that. So what I want you to do now is to remember that promise you made to me and stop wishing for a different life and go out and create it. And this time it's for you. No more excuses. And stop putting everything and everyone else first. If you feel like you need more support in that area, definitely make sure you're in my Facebook group, the Corporate Reject Connection, because and listen to my podcast, The Corporate Rejects, because I don't hold anything back there. So my hope for you is that you're going to take the information I just gave you and use it. Start working virtually. Even if you are still working a job, just find your first virtual job to see how it feels. Like, there's no pressure. There's nothing, like, just do it. It's really not hard. And if it's not for you, then but again, you don't have to give up everything and be a freelancer and be constantly scared about where, your next paycheck's coming from. There are legit corporate jobs available to work virtually. So if that's where you're at and what you're most comfortable with and you're not quite ready to go freelance, that's okay. You can still take all of these skills and all of these resources and work from home. Just for a bigger corporation. And spread the message. For some reason, it shocks me that, we share so many things with other moms, like, the best diapers, what to do, postpartum, the best underwear to use when you're a new mom. Like, we share these like intimate details with each other, but we don't share that there are opportunities out there. And again, that's one of my biggest passions, is to make sure moms know, like, they don't have to have the crappy traditional, have your baby be home for 3 months if you're lucky, and then go back to work and never see your baby again. Like, that doesn't have to be the way it is. Absolutely not. So the other thing I don't want you to do is delay, because the online business world is booming more than ever, and all of these businesses need virtual workers. I talk to business owners every day that are desperate for a virtual assistant, and they can't find anybody. And they're out there, but they don't know where to look, how to find one, what to ask. And I help them on a different level of finding virtual assistants. But when, people come into my world and I teach them how to be a virtual assistant, I then take them, pair them with the business owners, and it's like, la, and they go off, into the sunset happy. So that's another like amazing thing that I have started to offer, is that I help matchmake. And I love that. Like, I'm a matchmaker, but for virtual assistants and business owners. It's beautiful. So the foolproof system that I teach doesn't require a lot of time. Like I said, you can learn the different pieces and stolen moments between all of the things you're doing. I did this while working full time with a husband, infant, dog, home, and you can too. But you don't have to do it alone. So if you take away one thing, I want you to know that you can have the family life you desire, and you can have it without having to sacrifice your income. So are you in? Like, are you ready? I think you are. If you're here for a reason, that you need something different, whether you want or you need, or both, something different. So the skills that you need to become a work-at-home mom, I went over in the different job descriptions. Again, there's a ton of different ones, but I am introducing my program, 60-Day VA, where you can get the skills, get paid, and get certified. So this is super fun. I have 4 pillars for you. You know, and I don't want you to focus on like the business part, because the business setup is so minute and that can come later. I didn't set up anything official when I started as a virtual assistant. Didn't have an LLC or an EIN or any of these fancy things. I didn't have any of that. I will absolutely teach you how to do that, but you don't have to do any of that. You can just start taking jobs. And I've taught so many women how to do this already. And like I said, it started with friends or friends of friends or sisters of friends. I started doing it with them, and then I was like, oh my gosh, like this is taking up a lot of my time, and I'm not getting paid. So like what do I need to do? And that's what brought it back around for like the passion side of it, right? Like I made it my mission to help as many moms as possible. And for this year, it's 500. Learn how to work from home, how to work virtually. So in my program, 60-Day VA, again, you learn how to, figure out what skills you have, learn profitable skills. I have a whole module of skills training for you. So even if you're like, you're crazy, I don't have any skills, I promise you do. And I'll teach you the other ones that you don't, or you think you might need. I'll teach you how to craft a pitch and how to talk to potential clients and how to get yourself booked with clients. Those are the things that catch a lot of people up. Those are things that caught me up too, which is why I had to get help with that. So the strategic plan that I teach you gives you the exact blueprint you need. Very simple. This is what you need to do. Strategies I've used, strategies my clients have used, the exact steps, the tried and true templates, mentorship, community. I also offer certification, which is not something many people are offering. It's not required to be certified to be a virtual assistant, but it really gives you like a one-up when business owners get all these applications and they're like, oh my gosh, like who do I even like start to like talk to? If they see you're a certified virtual assistant, that immediately up levels you because they know that you've done something extra to get a certification. So I also offer an internship, which is amazing because I, again, pair you up with an online business owner and you do a project for them. So you get to go through the whole phase of setting up a discovery call and doing that call with them, setting a proposal and contract and everything. And then working with somebody, learning that communication and getting constructive feedback. So the internship alone is so important, and my students absolutely love it because they kind of get that like, okay, I get to like go through the process without it being too scary, because the business owner knows that you're a student. So you're doing everything exactly how you would, but you're also going through the system knowing that you're going to have a friendly face on the other side, giving you constructive feedback when needed and giving you a testimonial. The testimonials that my students have had from their internships are freaking amazing. Like they give me goosebumps. The other thing I do is I give you job leads. So I have a hire form and a very large network of business owners who, like I said, are desperate for virtual assistants. And if you are, in my program, I give you those job leads direct. Like, here you go, like apply. So that's something that you can only get from being in this program. I share lots of other job opportunities in my free group, but actual like job application or job descriptions and applications coming through direct to me from people, I only give to my students. Because I know that you're awesome. And I know that you've gone through my training. So in my program, in the 60-Day VA, you get the business blueprint, the profitable skills, the perfect pitch, and get booked. These are, again, the core modules, but you get so much more in addition to that. You get templates, skills training, recordings of all trainings, audits, hot seats, all of it you get, which is amazing. So just the base of my virtual assistant program is valued at $7,500. And enrollment is open, but don't worry, I'm not going to charge you $7,500. If you're here, you probably don't have $7,500 just hanging around, right? Waiting to be spent. What I am offering for this open cart, which is through Sunday night, I'm giving you your internship for free. and I'm giving you your certification for free. I normally charge $497. That's $497 each. So that's like $1,000 that you know would have to pay if you want to do those things in addition to the course. Again, you don't need the internship, you don't need the certification, you don't need those things to be a virtual assistant, but they up level you drastically. Plus, the internship, every student I've had go through this has either been hired like ongoing after doing their internship by that company, or it's a project-based thing where they have them like on call, like, okay, when I need this, I'm hiring you to do it. So that it's like basically like you're pretty much guaranteed a job, you know, if you go in there and do a good job. So yeah, these bonuses are good through Sunday. And then for the next 24 hours, so if you sign up within the next 24 hours, I'm going to give you free weekly live coaching for 6 months. So this is super popular. All of the students that are currently like actively in the program, they love this live coaching. So it's every week I go live for an hour, and it's group coaching, so you can come on and ask your questions and I answer them live for you. You can share your screen and I can help you with things, give you ideas and opinions. And the other beautiful thing is that the other women in the group that are on there, they help too. And we all come from different backgrounds and have different experiences. And we create so much magic in these weekly coaching calls. Like it's like one of my favorite things that I do every week is the weekly coaching calls. And if you can't make it live, I have a form you can put your questions in and I still answer them live for you. So if you sign up in the next 24 hours, you get the 6 full months. That's what, 26 weeks. So it's 26 hours of live time you can have with me for free. And normally I charge $647, which is still not very much, but it's free within the next 24 hours. So I would definitely recommend taking advantage of that. And then if you sign up while we're still on this live workshop, you also get 2 free weeks of email or Voxer support from me. So you can email me with any questions that I'll respond to directly to you, or you can have Voxer access where we, you know, walkie-talkie back and forth so we can talk things out. That's another thing that's really popular. People love Voxer access. I know I love having Voxer access. My coach, she gives me Voxer access and it's like the best. I love it. Okay, so again, the doors to 60-day VA are officially open. The total value with all of the bonuses is $9,338. Of course, I'm not going to be charging you that. I have drastically reduced it down to $497. So $497. That's under $500 that you can get started with direct mentorship to start your own virtual assistant journey. And I'm so excited. I'm like, I get all goosebumpy when I talk about it, because when I think about like $497, I think about like, that's less than a college credit, 1 college credit. And what a college class is like at least 3, maybe 4 college credits. And what, years, years of your time to get a degree that maybe you can get a job with. But for $497, you can get the exact blueprint that so many of us have used to start making money right away as a virtual assistant. And I call it 60-day VA because it doesn't feel too overwhelming, but it also doesn't feel too long. But you can do it as fast as you want. I've had people that just start doing it, and within like a week or 2, they just bust through it and start taking clients. I also have people who take longer. They, you know, life happens and they don't do it fast. They don't do it in 60 days. That's okay. You have lifetime access. So you don't have to worry about it. You can take as little or as much time as you want. You can always come back to the course, always come back to the skills training. And every single week I add to the skills training. I'm adding new how-to videos on different programs and subjects. So it's a really, really great place. And also, I can't remember if I mentioned this, but I have a private community for just students, and it has current students, past students, any guest experts I bring in, and you can ask questions anytime you want. And besides me being in there answering questions, again, you have other students helping, giving feedback. Guest experts are in there. Like I have a couple of bookkeepers in there, which is really nice because, you know, when you're starting to make money on your own, not getting a regular like paycheck and W-2, it can get a little bit confusing. And those are all things that I've included in this course. So you can learn exactly what to do and have templates for exactly what to do. So if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. Again, you can send them to just me in the chat, or you can make it public so everyone can see. Just gonna move this. I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. Say hello. See who's in here. Take a sip of water. Water would be good. Wait for any questions to come through. And let's see here. I also have a few more slides for you. I want to tell you about some lame excuses that I had. It's always fun to make fun of yourself, right? Let's see here. Okay. Hopefully you can see. If you're on live, let me know in the chat if you can see my slides. Any questions you have, like don't hold back. I will answer anything. Okay. So my 3 lame excuses that held me back from taking control of my time, my life, and my income. Lame excuse number 1, I don't have the time. We've all said this, right? And it's real, like we don't have the time, but we do. We can make the time. So we believe that our time is maxed out because we're working tirelessly and we can't seem to get it all done. Oh, there's a chat. There's a chat. How much does the average person VA make per month? Okay, so the average person VA. So I'm assuming you mean like someone that doesn't have like some specialized skills like that they would use for like OBM or for like a professional graphic designer or anything crazy, right? So most virtual assistants in the U.S. start at oops, I can't get this chat to go away now. Most virtual assistants in the U.S. start at about $20 an hour, and it can go up drastically from there. And there's some people who charge less, and a lot of times that really depends on their location and their background, but really like the confidence in themselves. So I have met some virtual assistants in the U.S. who start at about $15 to $18 an hour because usually it's a worthiness thing. They don't think they're worth more than that. But also it's an education thing because when you are working for yourself, you still have to pay taxes. You don't have an employer pulling taxes out for you and giving you a paycheck. So, if you're making $15 an hour, like you have to remember that you have to take, like on average 30% of that and set it aside to pay your taxes at the end of the year or estimated taxes throughout the year. Again, these are all things that I talk about in the program. So you don't have to worry about, missing something like that. And another reason I have 2 amazing bookkeepers right now, specifically who are in there helping with all of those questions, especially the time of year right now. So I always recommend that virtual assistants in the US start at $20 an hour. You can always start higher. I have lots of people who start at $25 an hour, and that's totally fine. You just have to know that you have to, when you're looking for clients, there's going to be the ones who, there's going to be the ones who want to pay like $5 an hour. And those are people that I say, great, you need to go hire someone from the Philippines, which is fine because of the conversion rate and, their costs that they have over there, making $4 or $5 an hour is a lot for them or decent at least. So that's totally fine if that's someone's budget. But in the US, if you are trying to make a legit income, then you need to charge what you need, it makes sense. So again, most US VAs start at about $20 an hour, and most I would say hang out somewhere between $25 to $30 an hour. If you do specialize in certain things, you can always charge more. Like if you're a tech VA, like doing like tech setup and back end things for different programs, they usually start at about 35 an hour, and like anywhere like 35 to 75 an hour. OBMs usually start, if they're brand new, they sometimes will start as low as 40 or 45 an hour, but it goes up from there. And I would say most general OBMs in the US are charging somewhere between $50 and $100 an hour. So it really just depends on who you're working for, what you're doing, what you're offering, that kind of thing. How many clients does the average VA have to make a decent monthly living? So again, it's going to depend on how much hourly you're charging, and how much each client is using you. So I'm trying to think how to answer this. So if you can have one client who, needs 20 hours a week. And if you're charging $20, $25 an hour, that can totally be enough. So it really depends on what you need to make. So looking at your own personal budget and your goals and knowing what you need to make per month, or maybe looking at what you make in your current job and saying, okay, I need to match this, or I need to exceed this, or whatever. So if you're like, okay, I need to make $3,000 a month, then you can kind of reverse engineer it. So $3,000 a month, how many hours per week do you want to work? So then you divide that, amount by that, and that'll give you either, you can look at your hourly wage that way, and okay, this is what I need to charge, so I need to only take jobs that I make this amount of money. Or you can have lots of little, smaller clients. Because of my experience, I tend to say it's better to have a few larger clients than a lot of little clients. But again, it totally depends on what you offer. But if you're doing basic general virtual assisting, where it's pretty much, the same kind of stuff every month, get on a few retainers, and, so you have 3 to 6 month contracts with each one, and that can help you feel a little more comfortable, especially when you're new. And then, okay, this is what I need to make. These are the hours I'm going to work. Done. Boom. So yeah, I would definitely not recommend charging any less than $20 an hour to start, and just figure out how much you need to make, and then reverse engineer that. Let me know if you need help. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. Let me know if you need help reverse engineering those numbers. I gotta take a sip of water. 1 second. Too much talking. Let's see. Do most clients want the work done at an exact time, or are they flexible? I think the best way to answer that is, yes, everyone wants something done by a certain time. Some are more flexible than others, but generally, if it's a legit business, like with a good business plan, like moving forward, yeah, they need things done by a certain time. The flexibility part comes more to the point of when they're giving you what they need. So an example, if they are like, it's really if you're flexible in like how they communicate things. If they're a great planner and they have things planned out for weeks or months, then it's much simpler. But if they're not, if they're like kind of like the classic creative visionary entrepreneur who's like kind of a mess themselves, then there's always that possibility that they could be like, hey, here's all this, I need it tomorrow, or I need it in 2 days. And you could be like, yeah, that's not possible. So there are clients like that. Absolutely. And I've had a lot of them, but I've also had a lot of really great clients who are very organized and get you what you need when you need it. But that's part of you as a virtual assistant having your standards. Like, okay, if you need a new project, like you need to give me, X amount of days lead time. And it's not like you're a slave. So it's not like they can just be like, do this, I need it now. Like, I mean, you can allow someone to teach you like that or treat you like that. You can allow someone to treat you like that, but I don't recommend it. And that's another thing that we go through a lot in the community through my program is we, help each other through those situations. So I have students who come and they'll be like, oh, this client's doing this to me or trying to do this to me. What do I do? And I can help you with the language and how to respond. So the flexible part of it, I mean, most of it is you, how flexible you are, but also what your like standards are, what your benchmarks are. Like, I will do this, but you have to ask me, at least a week in advance, and then I will let you know if I have the availability. And that's one of the things I really like about being a virtual assistant, like a freelance virtual assistant, is it doesn't feel the same as like being an employee where you just feel like you have to do whatever they say or it's in the world. Like you have more of a say. How is a VA paid? So most VAs are paid through PayPal, sometimes Wave or QuickBooks, but generally PayPal. So basically what you do is you bill them. So what you would do is you figure out a package, and this is all stuff I teach, but you figure out your package. Like if they're going to be purchasing like 10 hours a month or 20 hours a month or 40 hours a month or however many hours per month, or if it's a package price where you're going to do their email management and post 3 social media posts a week, and then you just charge an X amount, like a package price. Okay, I'll do all of this for $500 a month. So there's differences between hourly and package pricing. But if you're an independent contractor VA, you always get paid up front. If you're working virtually for a company, but you're actually an employee, then that could be different. It could be more traditional. But so I'm answering this more as independent contractor VA. But yeah, so you would just send them an invoice, however you want to do it. There's lots of different programs and to do that, or you can just send a very simple PayPal invoice and they pay it and then you're paid. How do you know when to break ties with a client? Ooh, that's a good one. Well, when they start pushing boundaries, I shouldn't say if they start pushing boundaries and you can't seem to come to a good agreement on whatever the issue is, or if you're just not enjoying it anymore, if you're like dreading having to do the client's work or deal with the client, then that might be a time. I would say most VAs I talk to, the reason they leave clients are because the client's a jerk. And that's not that often, but that's, the number one thing. Or they're too needy, or they're not. This is actually probably the biggest thing, is the client wants something, but the client doesn't give you what you need to get it done. And then the client's irritated because they didn't do their end of it. So, there's always those types of things, just like any job. You get frustrated with your employer or your coworker or whatever. And you just eventually, you're like, I'm done, I'm out. But sometimes it's just a project thing too. Sometimes they no longer need the service that you offer. Sometimes you aren't offering that service anymore. So for me, that was always the case. I was moving, growing and doing different things, and I just didn't have it in me to do the basic things anymore. I didn't want to. It wasn't worth my time. So I, moved on from those clients because I wanted the time and space to be able to take on clients that I wanted to work with in different ways. Do I still do VA? So I don't do like general VA work anymore, but I do take on project-based, and I do that for a couple of reasons. A, extra cash is always nice. And B, because I teach people how to be VAs now, I like to keep my skills up. So I will take on project-based clients now when I want to, like when it feels good. So like I just this week I talked to a lady who is launching a new course, and I love doing launches. So I agreed, like, okay, like I'll do that. Like A, like again, extra money is always nice, and B, I believed in what she was doing, and I knew that I could really benefit her, and I had the time in my calendar. So I do take on VA work still when it's a good fit. Do you take credit card for payment? Yes. So it doesn't really, if you're using PayPal, so like if I'm the VA and I invoice you like through PayPal or through any invoice system, So it doesn't matter how you send the invoice. It could be like a typed document, but there's going to be a link to make the payment, and that payment has to go through a processor. So the most common are PayPal, Stripe, Square, and then the client, when they pay it, they can choose if they want to pay it with a credit card, if they want to do like an automatic transfer from their bank account, whatever, because the payment's going through a processor. So you're not having to like take their credit card information or anything and do anything with it. Like you don't have access to their credit card information. So, which is obviously good. You want to use a well-known, trusted partner like PayPal to do that. So, like because my husband does podcast editing and I do some of the management, we now bill through QuickBooks. And so through QuickBooks, we send the invoice to the client and they can pay again through credit card or with their bank account, but it all goes through QuickBooks. You're welcome for the workshop. Thank you for all the great questions. Okay, so let's see, got a few more minutes. I'll go through these quickly. So if you're maxed out on time, which you are, how can you work virtually? So I love this little graphic because it's a nice reminder. We all have 168 hours in a week. It doesn't feel like it, does it? Unless you're intentionally scheduling things out. So it's a really good thing to look at your weekly schedule and really pay attention to how you're using those 168 hours. And I like to do this with time blocking. You can do it like on your computer with a Google Calendar. It's nice because you can easily move things around, or you can, just draw it out with a pencil and paper. But it's easier to do on Google Calendar, and it's easy to look ahead and really know, okay, how much time do I actually have? And where can I fit things in? So the top 5 ways Americans waste time: scrolling their phone, sitting in traffic, sitting in traffic, if you don't have to work outside of the home anymore, hopefully there's less of that, but there's still, taking kids to sports and lessons and all that. Watching TV, playing on apps and games on their phone or tablet, scrolling social media. Look how high. It's like almost 50%. Top 5 ways. That's the top way people waste time. So whenever you're thinking like, I don't have time to learn something new, or I don't have time to find clients or whatever, just pay attention to how much time you're spending scrolling social media. And if you're not already tracking that, if you have a smartphone, you can set it up so it will set alerts to let you know, like, oh, you've been on Facebook for an hour today. And then you can either say like, okay, done, and it'll like gray out the app. Or you can say, remind me in 15 minutes or remind me in 1 minute, so you can finish up whatever thing you're doing. So I encourage you to start taking note, and I call it time tracking. Taking note, like for a week, just write down everything, like every hour, like write something down, like what you've been doing for that last hour. And I have my entrepreneur clients do this as well. But I want you to do it for yourself and just see where you're spending all of that time. And don't leave any time unaccounted for. Like you need to actually see where you're spending your time. Because if you're spending 2 hours or 3 hours a day on social media, which you probably don't think you are, but if you look at the time tracking apps on your phone, you might be shocked. Because even if you're not sitting there doing it all at once, all of those times you stop and start looking and scrolling, it really is a time suck. So if you just took that amount of time and started using it to learn something new, start finding clients, start, building up your, skills base, your portfolio, you can really get a lot more done than you think. So I highly encourage that. And I think you'll be shocked. Let's see. It's shocking how much time I spend on social media. Yeah, I know. Me too. I have the app set up now, to help me, and that really helps. And I shared in my podcast this week about how I talked to several very successful entrepreneurs, and what they do is they delete their social media apps every single day. So because they're online business owners, they do a lot of social media marketing. And so they use social media. So they have it on their phone. But at the end of the day, when they shut their computer for the end of the day, They shut their computer, they delete the apps. And then the next day, if it's a work day, then they re-download the apps. And for me, that was like, that seems like a lot of work. And I was like, but I'm going to try it. And now my phone is like being crazy and won't let me delete any apps. So I'm like, seriously? But you can also move them into a folder on your phone and just kind of put them away, like out of sight, out of mind. And that might help too. So anyways, I definitely suggest really paying attention to the social media. And if you are on social media, you know, and you are pursuing a virtual assistant career, then be looking for job opportunities. Like use that time for good. And another thing I teach in my program is like how I got my first job was by being helpful. And I talk about this a lot because it goes a long way. And I've seen it over and over again. If you're helpful, people notice that. Like a lot of people on social media are lurkers. They don't post or comment, but they're seeing things. So I was in the Boss Moms group and someone needed help and I was just, you know, being friendly and helpful. And then she ended up hiring me. Even, you know, it was something completely non-related to hiring a virtual assistant. And that was my first like actual virtual assistant job. But I've had lots of people reach out and end up hiring me because they saw comments I made on other people's posts. So people are paying attention. So by, you know, reutilizing that social media scroll time to actually doing some social media marketing and being helpful and putting, you know, yourself out there in the right places, you can still be on social media, but actually be doing something useful. So lame excuse number 2, I don't have the money to invest in training. I get this all the time. And then they say this, but really, I can't afford to go on vacation or buy a new car. And then I say this, then why did you just spend $200 at Target when you just went in for toilet paper? I think we've all done this. If you've ever been to Target, you know that this is what happens, right? You have this giant receipt with all these little tiny amounts. Look at this, like $1.99, 50 cents, 94 cents, 8 cents, $1.90, all these tiny little amounts because of that damn section at the front, right? It's like the dollar section and it's like fantastic deals. And then all these cute things like a $5 mug, and the cute new thing from Magnolia, right? Like all these cute things. Oh, and then this, all these adorable like baby clothes and like outfits and oh my gosh, they're adorable, right? So we've all gone in and easily spent $200 or $300 at Target. Somehow we justify that, but we have a hard time investing in ourselves. So you can go to Target tonight or tomorrow or whatever, spend your $300, or you can invest in yourself. Start getting virtual assisting clients. You know, it's up to you. Yes, these are adorable. Let's see, there's some more chat. Yes, Target does rock. They rock at stealing my money. They do rock, but they're really good at, like, whoever set up that store, like, they're friggin' a genius. Like, we need them doing marketing for, you know, for our own businesses. If you run a business, like, because I don't know how they do it, but you need everything, right? So there are reasons that I needed to work from home and I needed to take control of my time and income. Gas, car maintenance, parking fees, childcare. Luckily for me, I didn't have to pay for childcare, but every single friend of mine does. Getting takeout way too often because after working all day and, you know, not sleeping well because you have a kid and all the things, like, you too tired to cook. So you get takeout all the time. And you're also overcompensating. Like, I noticed that, like, I was overcompensating in other ways, like buying, let's go back up here, all this stuff because I wasn't, you know, at home with my kid. And so in some way, my head was like, oh, I need to overcompensate and buy all this stuff. Have you ever done that before? Let me know in the comments, in the chat. I want to know, like, have you ever overcompensated because you were lacking somewhere, right? And honestly, like, I couldn't afford not to. Like, we all have ups and downs, and we all always will. But when I became a virtual assistant and then an online business manager, I was able to do a lot more. Like, I was able to get my sweet new mom car. I was able to move to Hawaii. My hubby is home with us now, working from home. And when life happens, I'm here. So that right there is enough for me. Let's look at the chat again. Still overcompensate. Yeah, I know. Me too. But um, okay, gotta get myself on track. My lame excuse number 3, right? I don't know how to work virtually. This was me, right? Nurse to virtual assistant and then online business manager. Like, I honestly did not think I had skills to work online. So I get it. I've been there. And we all have moments where we have that imposter syndrome. We're like, what are we even thinking? But if you are a nurse or a lawyer or a doctor or, project manager, a CEO, if you are, you can go straight from one of those higher level corporate type jobs, you can go straight to an online business manager. You can do that. You have the skills. Receptionist or virtual assistant, like Hannah, she was a receptionist. She moved to virtual assistant and now to OBM. Like, you absolutely have the skills. So like this mom here she's working, it looks like in a medical office reception. And here she's at home. So she's on the phone. There's jobs you can still do reception type jobs on the phone. Most people don't want to, so they do something different. But you have options. Waitress to customer service VA. I know a waitress who doesn't think she has any skills to work online, but she does because she's spent the last however many years working in customer service. She can do the same thing online, but she doesn't have to sling, coffee and pancakes and scrambled eggs. She, can do that in a different way on the phone or on chat support or an email support. She can still give customers fantastic support without having to come home smelling like fried food. And I remember this from when I worked in restaurants and bars, smelling like fried food and cigarette smoke. Although I guess now these days you probably don't smell like cigarette smoke, which is good. Traditional attorney to online business attorney. I've met amazing, smart attorneys that, did the traditional attorney life. They're in court all the time and doing all that, right? Wearing this pantsuits. And then they had kids and they decided they wanted to be home. So they become an online business attorney. Like, there are attorneys for all different things, including online businesses. And if you're working with online businesses, you don't have to be in person. You don't have to be in court. You're still doing what you love to do. You can still be an attorney online. There's nurses and doctors that I've met that don't practice in person anymore. They do everything online. Like, it blows my mind still. But whatever it is that you do in the real world, you can do online. Are pantsuits still a thing? Unfortunately, yeah. They are a thing. There's still pantsuits out there. Oh, pantsuits. My husband and I have all kinds of funny pantsuit jokes. So this is like my desire, right? Like, this is my vision board, to be able to travel and explore new places, to be with my family, not to have a second kid, but to be with my family, to have a different life, to have a clean home. That still hasn't happened yet, but maybe someday, to spend time with friends, like to have, moving things around here, getting crazy, to have those opportunities, those options. This is my life now. My child with his crazy face, me on top of the volcano here on Maui, my family by the ocean, my husband and I on a date at the beach, and then some of my amazing online business friends, us meeting and chatting all things business and helping each other and, creating a community. We might not be in person, but guess what? We're not supposed to be in person with anyone right now anyways. And who knows how long it's going to go on. So I'm so grateful for my online community. So if you're waiting to win the lottery, I'm really sorry to tell you this, but you're going to be one fed up Felicia. It's just, it could happen, but it probably won't, especially if you live in Hawaii, because we don't have lottery here. But you don't have to wait around wishing and saying, someday when I win the lottery, because you absolutely have the control to do what you want. So whether you want to be a general virtual assistant and just replace your income, that's fine, or if you want to, start there, get your feet wet like I did, and then start building my own online business empire, you can do that too, right? So there's so many options, and I wasted a lot of time Again, scrolling on my phone while I was breastfeeding and in between everything else, looking online desperately for an opportunity. That's not me, but that is a very good depiction of me and my child while he was breastfeeding and I was looking for online jobs. So before we end, remember resourceful Rachel? She looks so happy, doesn't she? She decided that her family's number one. She still wants a meaningful career and money. So just because someone wants to be at home with their kids doesn't mean they don't still want a career and money. Some maybe don't care, maybe they don't need it because their spouse makes enough. But there's still a lot of moms who think that stay-at-home mom life is going to be the best, but then they miss having a career. You can still do that and be home with your kids. Resourceful Rachel invested in herself. She discovered that she has marketable skills. Again, make sure you do my skills extraction workbook. So she works from home now, and she has freedom of time and money. And then there's floundering Felicia. She doesn't believe in herself. She wastes months, years trying to DIY her own business, trying to figure out ways to make money from home. She loses a lot of money and confidence. And while she was doing all that, she missed out on her kids growing up. She finally invested in herself months or years down the road, but her kids are grown. She missed out. Or she stays working for someone else forever in a job she hates. So who are you? Which do you choose? Felicia or Rachel? So who believes they can make good, consistent money from home? Type yes or no in the chat. Let me know. I'm very curious if what I've been teaching you is actually making sense. Yes. Good. So you know that you can. You know it's a possibility. But do you have the support? So you can absolutely do it on your own. And remember that I tried that. And maybe I would have been successful eventually, but I didn't want to waste time anymore. Like I needed the rest of the puzzle pieces. I needed help putting those together instead of doing it all on my own. I needed that support. So I found the support that I needed, and from there I thrived. Yes, yes. So just a reminder, in the 60-day VA program, you get immediate access to the business blueprint, profitable skills, the perfect pitch, and get booked modules. Oops, going too far. Plus the templates, skills training, recording of all trainings, audits, hot seats, all of that. All of that's valued at $7,500. And then also the private community that I talked about, where you can come in and ask your questions at any time. I post specific things just for my course members there as well, and have all the extra goodies in there. You can meet other people, have tag buddies. Tag buddies are so important. And what that means is when you are, on social media looking for jobs, you will see a ton of jobs, and there might be some that you don't do, but you might know someone who does. So this is a great way to help each other out while you're already doing that and maximizing the time. So when I first started as a virtual assistant, my friend Jessica and I were tag buddies, and then several other people in our group, as we got to know them, would help as well, and we'd help them. But like she and I knew like what we did, and we would recommend each other. So we'd go on a post and be like, oh, you need to talk to Jessica, and tag her, So that person, so she gets a tag and she can follow up, and that person can click and check her out. So, and then she would do that for me. And people in my business mastermind and I do this for each other as well. We tag each other because, we know, oh, this person does that, this person does that. And when someone recommends you, there's a much higher chance of getting, that potential new client because you've been recommended from somebody versus you just self-pitching. So finding tag buddies is really, really important. And in that community, you also get support from me, the guest experts, and the other students, both past and current. So I have a lot of, past students that have access to the group as well, and they'll come in and help out, answer questions as needed as well. Oops, there we go. Sorry about that. And then don't forget the bonuses. Free internship, free certification, now through Sunday night when the cart closes. And if you join us within the next 24 hours, you get the free weekly live coaching for 6 months. Again, that's 26 weeks, so 26 hours of live time with me to ask all your questions, have me look at anything that you need help with. It's a really, really great time. And then plus anyone else who's on the call, they can give their insight as well, which is really, really helpful. And then if you sign up before this workshop ends, you get the free 2 weeks of email or Voxer support from me. Just lots of one-on-one time with me. So any questions? What's going on here? We're getting crazy. My tech's getting crazy over here. There we go. So any questions, drop them in the comments. Just a reminder, these are the modules plus the bonuses, all of this for only $4.97 today, which again is less than 1 college credit. And when I was in college, 1 credit was $1,000. That was at a private college, and I know there's ones that are more, but even in a community college, they're still right around that same amount. So just go to amandadavella.co/workathome, and you can get registered right away. Awesome. Okay, yeah, definitely reach out if you have any questions. And then I'm gonna also type this link in the chat for you. I should have done that before. I apologize. I got distracted with questions. I love questions. I love when people come on live and chat with me. Oops. Let's see. Yeah, so a couple more minutes before I sign off. So you can ask any questions. And if you have any other questions after, you can hit reply to any of the emails I've sent you. And I will be checking those. So there's the link to register. And let's see. Otherwise, you can make sure you're in my free Facebook group. Totally forgot how to talk. My free Facebook group, the Corporate Reject Connection, and you can ask questions in there or message me, and I will be happy to answer any questions you have. So, all right, I'm just gonna check the chat one more time. If there's any following questions, I think I got them all. Just scrolling back through. Okay, I think I got them all. All right, thank you so much. I hope that this was helpful and that you learned a lot. You have some good notes. I'm excited to see where you go. Please make sure you're in my group, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.